King Von was killed during a shootout between two groups outside a hookah lounge in downtown Atlanta Friday morning. Leaks, who was also shot, is charged with murder.
Lul Tim just sent a message. Not through a homie. Not whispered on the block. A public, documented, on-record message that the internet cannot stop talking about. Posted on November 6th, the 5th anniversary of King Von's death, the day a 6-year-old boy's father was taken from him. And the timing is not a coincidence. That's what this video is about. Not just the post, the whole picture, from the night it happened to the courtroom to Lul Tim walking free and building a documentary series to Queen Ka raising Von's son in deliberate silence away from all of it. Strap in because this story has been cold from day one. King Von, Davon Daquan Bennett, was born August 9, 1994 in Chicago, raised in Parkway Garden Homes on the South Side. O-Block, a genuine war zone. His father was killed when Von was 11 years old, shot by an unknown gunman with no justice. That shapes a man. That's why his storytelling hit different from every other drill rapper. He wasn't making it up. By the time he was buzzing in 2018 with Crazy Story, the streets already knew his reputation. His debut album, Welcome to O-Block, dropped right before he died and peaked at number 5 on the Billboard 20. He was on the verge of being the biggest thing out of Chicago for real. Now, Timothy Leaks, Lul Tim, born September 1st, 1998 in Savannah, Georgia. Before November 2020, barely anyone knew who he was. He played football at Jenkins High School, graduated in 2016. His connection to Quando Rondo ran deep. Quando called him his god. That's not a crew member. That's a spiritual ride or die. Tim was 22 years old the night everything changed. November 6th, 2020, 2:15 in the morning. Outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta, Georgia, Von and his crew were there. Quando Rondo and his crew were there too. Tension between these two camps had been building. That night, it ignited. It started as a physical confrontation. Fists, pushing, the kind of thing that in a different world might have ended there. But on those streets at that hour, a fight doesn't stay a fight when enough people are involved. Shots rang out. When the smoke cleared, 2 people were dead, King Von and a man named Mark Blakely. 6 others were wounded. Lul Tim was shot in the stomach by police during the incident. He was taken into custody right there at the hospital, treated and charged with felony murder. The next day, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation identified Timothy Leaks as the prime suspect. It seemed like it was heading toward a trial. It never got there. Lul Tim posted a $100,000 bond in March 2021 and got out. He did an interview with Angela Yee that raised eyebrows. He released a song called Off the List. People were watching him move in real time while Von was in the ground. Then in August 2023, his attorney confirmed to XXL and multiple outlets that the case had been dismissed, dropped before it ever reached indictment. Georgia's Stand Your Ground law. The state determined Lul Tim acted in defense of Quando Rondo, and the charges died with the case. The internet erupted. No trial, no jury, no conviction. The man who shot and killed King Von walked out legally cleared. Asian Doll, Von's girlfriend, went off publicly, calling Tim's media moves snitching behavior, questioning who was really on business versus who was just talking. Von's fans were devastated. And while all of this was playing out, Lil Durk, Von's closest friend and label partner, was allegedly doing something about it. In October 2024, federal authorities arrested Durk near Miami International Airport on charges that included conspiracy to commit murder for hire. The allegation was that Durk had orchestrated a hit on Quando Rondo in retaliation for Von's death, and that a 2022 shooting that killed Quando's cousin Savon Robinson was the result. Durk was held without bond at Broward County Jail, facing potential life in prison or the death penalty. So now you've got Lul Tim walking free, Quando still alive, and Durk in federal custody. The whole situation had turned into a federal case. Right into that chaos, Lul Tim walked with a media tour. October 28, 2024, 4 days after Durk's arrest, Lul Tim dropped the trailer for a documentary series called The Book of Timothy. The timing was not accidental. The internet was already talking about King Von again, and Tim walked straight into that conversation with a multi-part documentary promising the never-before-told truth. Produced with Hoodstar Films, narrated by CTV founder Sean Cotton, featuring Quando Rondo, Charleston White, and 6ix9ine. Episode 1 available for $5.99. He also sat with DJ Vlad for a full interview. He said he didn't know who he had shot that night, said he didn't know if the person was dead or alive. said all he knew was that he had to protect Kwando because Kwando was like his god, his family. He also said on camera that in his opinion, Vaughn would still be alive if he hadn't escalated the situation. He said that with his chest. He spoke about getting shot by police, the colostomy bag recovery, the time it took to heal. You could tell the night genuinely changed him, but he also stood firm. He did what he had to do to protect the people he loved. That media tour did not sit well with Vaughn's camp. The sentiment online was clear. This man is out here building a brand off King Vaughn's death while Van's family is still grieving, and Dirk is sitting in federal custody. Charleston White made it worse by publicly photographing himself with Lul Tim and posting captions taunting Vaughn's mother and sister, calling Tim a hero. The internet went livid. Tim's association with those moments added a layer. Not just the man who pulled the trigger, but someone who seemed comfortable existing in the infamy. And then November 6th came around again. 5 years. Lul Tim was active online that day. The posts circulated. No Jumper covered it, Trap Laura covered it. The exact content was debated, but the consensus was the same. Why is this man posting anything on this day? For Vaughn's family and son, that date is sacred grief. The message isn't a letter. The message is the existence itself. The freedom, the documentaries, the interviews, the life being lived loud by the man responsible for why that little boy has no father. That's what hit people as a message to Devin Jr. Now let's talk about who Devin Jr. actually is and who's protecting him. Queen Ka, Kayla Turner, earned a degree in Law Enforcement Justice Administration from Western Illinois University. She served as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. By December 2024, she completed her MBA, and she deliberately waited to walk at graduation in 2025 so Devin Jr. could be there to celebrate with her. She promised him that. She kept the promise. She has spoken publicly about how Vaughn came to her. He walked up, told her all he had was $2 and a dream, and asked if she was going to roll with him. No jewelry, no flex, no you know who I am. Just honest. She was reluctant. He was persistent in that quiet, confident way. Eventually, she rolled with him, and they built something real. In August 2019, Davon Bennett Jr. was born, carbon copy of his father, same face, same energy. After Vaughn passed, Ka made deliberate choices. She has been publicly clear about not dating men from Chicago, not out of hatred for Chicago. That's where Vaughn was from. That's O-Block. That's her son's legacy. But because of what that world represents for Devin Jr.'s safety, she doesn't let street figures near her child. She handles Devin Jr.'s exposure to his father's music on his son's own timetable. Devin Jr. himself said in a clip, she posted that he doesn't want to listen to his dad's music yet because of the bad words and wants to wait until he's older. That's a 6-year-old making a thoughtful decision. That's a mother building an environment where he can. When a football coach told Devin Jr. to stop crying or he'd be put with the cheerleaders, Ka pulled him off the team. No negotiations. Her job is to protect her child. Full stop. Devin Bennett Jr. is going to grow up. He's going to eventually hear every word of his father's music. He's going to understand the full context of what happened that night in Atlanta. He's going to know who Lul Tim is. He's going to know his father's killer walked free on Stand Your Ground, while his father's closest friend sat in federal prison for allegedly trying to get revenge. That is the world this child is inheriting. Not just a legacy of great music, but a story tangled up in grief, legal systems, and people who refuse to stay quiet about the situation that created all of it. Queen Ka is doing the hardest work in this entire story. Not the documentaries, not the courtrooms, not the anniversary posts. The work of raising one child with intention, keeping him away from everything that took his father, and making sure he knows Vaughn through his art and his love, rather than through the violence that ended him. The crazy story didn't end on November 6, 2020. It's still being written. And the next chapter belongs to Devin Jr. Long live King Vaughn. Drop a comment. Do you think Lul Tim should stay off the internet on November 6th? And is Queen Ka making the right call keeping her son away from all of this?